The game number one as we head back into the arena. Your commentary team for this one, Cap and Blitz.
Complexity heading into a best-of-3 against Kinguin, who've already had a pretty good tournament. Even though they've been knocked down to the lower bracket, they've surely exceeded expectations. And now Complexity not only have to go against them, they have to go against the panel, they have to go against a Kinguin Lone Druid, and supposedly an undefeated Dragon Knight here at this tournament Blitz. It seems like Complexity have a lot of things against them in this game one. Are you also going to be against them here in their draft? Oh, you're good! You missed the PL. They thought the Dragon Knight was a great pick.
I think that Kinguin eventually will sort of lack for disables. I feel like the cores are just going to be a little bit too mobile.
Okay.
I don't know how successful Clockwork's going to be in a game like this. It's not easy for him to gank any of these cores as well. So I'm going to go with Complexity, and I think I have an undefeated streak in predictions. I'm no longer doing
good work.
My troll pick the opposite of whatever you pick.
Yes, yes. That did go pretty badly for you.
It's more about you than it does about me.
Wait, no, you went
like
against me all the time.
In a good way.
Okay.
In a good way, dude. Finding arguments for some of those drafts were so complicated.
I could always see Will just like sitting there and thinking, going, and trying to figure out a way he could support the opposite team as me.
Yeah, but this time around, I'm going to go with Cole. I think matchup-wise, too, like in terms of playstyle, this is probably Complexity's easiest match in the top 6, like, because all the other teams, a lot of those teams have these players that can just like split the map around, but I think for Complexity, Kinguin is probably the easiest to deal with. Not like it's a free win or anything, don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying if there's a matchup that they like, it's probably this one.
So you're saying the style of Kinguin is going to benefit, like you think they're going to be playing more 5-man and more into Complexity?
Yeah.
And Cole hate it when people try and split push against them. They do have a Lone Druid, though. Like, the rest of their team is pretty 5-man, yes, but surely Lone Druid can do a good amount of split pushing for you.
And that's the hero that I think if is going to cause any problems for Complexity, it's going to be that one.
Okay. Oh, look at this Complexity switch up here. They're going to run the Sand King mid. So Moo's going to be playing the Sand King against the Dragon Knight to give them a really good 1v1 melee matchup.
Plus you have the Weaver and the aggro, and PL is very good naturally against a lot of these heroes. Like if you put PL safe lane, what are they supposed to do? Like the Bat Rider doesn't like to go to this top area, so they're immediately going to switch. But Weaver doesn't really mind Bat Rider too much. It's one of the better counters in the laning phase anyways to that hero. And I'm not sure the Phantom Lancer cares too much about this Lone Druid either. So potentially here, we could see the very rare 3-lane win.
Yeah, and you've repeatedly said, like, if you win all 3 lanes, it's like almost a guaranteed win.
I don't know if it's a guaranteed win, but the game becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because it's straightforward. I made a point on the panel, I was like, when everyone has a good start, it's very easy to make calls, right? Because everyone can contribute. They all have a feel for the game. When you're doing well in the game, every Dota player knows, like from any level on, it becomes so much easier to play because you understand like how strong you are. And so that's what the 3 laning advantage gives you, aside from like the gold in the last hits.
Right. So everyone's got a game plan. Everyone's able to make a call for some sort of rotation or movement, take an objective. And the game just becomes, in a lot of ways, straightforward when you're so far ahead, right? And just kind of run into the enemy.
Yeah.
You're happy with that. And
you get to be an influencer.
Influencer, huh?
Yeah.
Z-Freak's currently trying to be an influencer. 4-position Enchantress. He's playing in the enemy jungle, trying to help out the Weaver a little bit, but honestly, the Weaver doesn't really need it too much, so I think Z-Freak could probably play a pretty greedy Enchantress game and not have to help out the lanes overly much.
Yeah, and in mid already, we see the annoyance of the Sand King.
Yeah, Jesus, Nisha is having some big trouble with this. Yeah,
he's already brought himself a fresh set of Tangos. Eventually, the region will kind of topple this.
Yeah.
And it won't be as large of an issue. Like, he'll get Soul Ring, and coupled with the 2 levels of Dragon Blood, like, that's a lot of health regen.
Do you think he even considers a 3rd level? At level 5?
I don't think so. I think you go 2-1-2. As
they go for the dive, though, onto Nisha, already leading with the golem, but that's only one stun. And Kazor's actually got a man to pick up the haste rune. He's going to be able to block both of them in with the cogs, with Liasach here as well. They're going to try and get the kill on the Moo, and Moo has no mana to be able to fight this one, so he just turns, gets whatever damage he can before the first blood is given away, the Ancient Apparition.
Very well done. Really nice rotation. And normally that doesn't work if the Sand King has stun. He can almost always get out. But as a result, Very easy kill for them. CSing wise, it's still in pretty decent favor.
Yep.
Although this Bat Rider is doing a lot better than I expected, and I suspect it's because of the tri-lane that they were setting up.
Yeah, the Clockwork was continually trying to just zone out the Weaver.
Yeah. So that would make a little bit more sense, but like PL, even with the Lone Druid so far, the Sand King was up 7 CS on the Dragon Knight. Pretty significant amount so far early on. Nothing too unexpected here, though.
Are we trying to time this gank with the golems breaking apart? Looks like it. So he's going to have 3 different range stunts to throw down. This is going to be tough for Kinguin to be able to deal with this if they get spotted. Elisash is currently hiding in the trees, and the Bat Rider can make an easy escape. Clockwork is on to the top left. So Z-Freak doesn't see an easy opportunity, but as the creeps push in, they are going to go for this tower dive. See the Clockwork, and they're turn on to him. He actually gets the cogs over Kyle, and Bat Rider's going to try and fly over him. They're going to kill Elisash first and then go for Kaiser. That's going to be a pretty easy support kill. Peyto's going to try and at least get one in return, trying to fly over Kyle. Gets the flame break to help him get the kill, and it looks like he is going to be able to get out. Complexity, though, are able to make a favorable trade 2-1.
Yeah, very nice trade by them. Their tri-lane obviously being a bit stronger because it's so hard to kill this Weaver or pressure him. Like, Chessie will be hard-pressed to die in this lane, and the power of this Enchantress creeps a little bit too strong right now. So he's going to bring the next set of creeps over. Mu picks up an Illusion Rune, and we're starting to see the regen output from the Dragon Knight being very successful.
The golems again are going to slow down, and he takes the time to be able to get the Ghost. So if he can actually get the Ghost latched onto Elisash here, maybe they can get the kill, but it's just not quite in range. Now Elisash is able to keep his movement. Gets out of there. Now Kaiser's actually going to try and see if he can stop the Enchantress. Only bumps him back with a cog.
I think he just TPs right now.
Yeah, they're going to spot him out, but Flame Break no longer canceling TPs means that there's no way for them to be able to stop him.
He's trying to run away with his creeps. Poor Ghost Lady, though, will die without having done anything.
Looks like the little golems will be able to... Oh, nice job pulling the easy camp over to at least grab 2 of those melee creeps and hopefully deny them.
Yeah, mid lane right now, lane being shoved in as Mu continues to do okay. And his hero will pay dividends early on. Getting a Blink Dagger will be very nice for him. The downside is I'm not sure what he does when Dragon Knight just like pops his Dragon form with this whip.
Yeah.
This is what makes DK really strong. 99% of pros, pretty much everybody knows this, but when you hit 6 around that time, the first siege creep also spawns. So you almost always want to push in with it. Even if you don't take the tower directly, it's very useful to be able to pressure the tower.
Oh, good ensnare there. The Phantom Lancer is not going to go for the kill on Exotic Deer.
So you see in this situation though, like Mu, what he opts to do there is he pushes in the lane as far as he can, tries to get rid of the siege creep, and he forces Nisha to essentially waste his first Dragon form.
Yeah.
And that's going to be important for him because it keeps the lane stability up, it doesn't put pressure on Mu's tower. You don't just give Dragon Knight a tower for free, which is often what ends up happening when you play against these DKs.
Oh, they caught Chessie, and they are going to be able to get the kill. He burns under the fire. Really good gank for the Clockwork. Yeah, it looks like Kyle's going to try and get the kill on Exotic Deer. This would be a huge one, but he did have magic stick charges, and he actually baits Kyle into doom as Nisha, we saw earlier, pushed out by the Sand King, was farming up neutrals. Just happened to be in a good position to help get that kill onto Complexity. So 2-4 right now, slight lead for Kinguin.
Yeah, it's barely a K, so not that big, but the cores on Kinguin are actually doing quite well for themselves. I thought this Enchantress would have a little bit more impact, maybe roam mid a few more times, but Nisha is very tanky. He is going to get gone on.
They're going to be able to kind of lock him in here, but Nisha's just going to turn and start going for Mu. Elisash runs in front of him, and they are able to body block him just enough to be able to get the stun from Nisha. Well played by Elisash, making the most of his laning phase Ancient Apparition. Not the easiest hero to play in the early game, but he's doing what he can here.
Just diving a Dragon Knight under tower.
Yeah, pretty risky.
Yeah, it just feels like they're getting a little bit more desperate. Like so far, the laning phase would be okay, but they make these aggressive maneuvers, and unfortunately Sand King's initiation is also his escape.
Yeah, they easily could have chipped that tower down quite a lot. With the Enchantress creeps there, plus the Jakiro, the Liquid Fire.
And then you give some room to your cores.
Instead, they go to the dive and are met with disaster. So Mu's actually going to rotate out of lane here. Heads up to top. Chessie's still chilling out here, maybe thinking the Bat Rider will assume he's left lane. They can go for a dive or something. I don't know. It's kind of a weird setup from Colt right now.
It feels like they're getting a little bit desperate to make something happen. they're rotating a lot of heroes to do essentially nothing right now. Like, they're not finding any easy kills, and Kinguin are playing very well around that. They understand the way that Complexity plays, I think. They want to force these fights, and if you just play passive-aggressive is a good way to put it.
Yeah. Be willing to fight, but don't force it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let them come into you,
Yep.
then make a bunch of snide remarks.
And classic Swindle Mullins. He takes things one step further.
He's aggressive.
He's aggressive. And that's exactly what Complexity is doing right now. They're trying to force things. It's turning out a little hard for them. Now they are going to defend Nisha as he tries to push into this tier 1 tower, but with a haste rune on the clockwork again. Really dangerous to fight into that area. So Complexity, this game's still very even, and they are going to go for another push, see if this one's going to be a bit more successful than the previous attempts.
Their supports are kind of holding things up, holding them above water.
Ooh, look at this wraparound, though, coming in from Kinguin. The full wrap from the clockwork from behind to see if he can set up already. Battery assault intel. They're going to be able to catch Z-Freak here. Cogs pushback, but that is going to be the end of his life. Fortunately, the Weaver was able to get out, and that's the important hero.
Yeah, trying to find an angle on Chessie, but fortunately, Chessie was just able to get out of there. And in mid lane, they're trying to harass back Nisha, who is kind of acting like as a pseudo Dusa, where with his high regen, he's just holding this mid tower.
Dire are scanning.
Eventually, it is going to get chipped down.
It's kind of a war of attrition, though.
Yeah.
Like, can you outlast the Breathe Fire's Soul Ring?
Dire's middle tower.
And we can see our Phantom Lancer dropping pretty low. Doesn't look like he can. Chessie trying to go for the kill here on Exotic Tier. There is the Savage Roar. Now Chessie's still going to try and chase him with the Shikuchi. Go underneath the tower. Go for the dive. Exotic Tier goes into the trees. Tries to hide himself, and a time lapse is going to be forced out from Chessie. Not willing to make that dive. An attempted Century catch, but Clockwork not able to get close enough for the Cogs in middle lane. Nisha going to be slowed down, but Limp's not actually going for the kill. At top lane, they actually brought the Batrider a little bit low. But it's just Complexity poking at all these heroes, but not actually able to get a kill anywhere.
It actually looks like they're healing Nisha.
Yeah.
It's like such an absurd amount of HP regen.
And he's got 3 levels of Dragon Blood. He's got Soul Ring. He's got Treads.
He's even going to pop the Shrine with him in the Batrider. The Batrider inching in on that Blink Dagger, but hey, just look at his raw HP health. It's like 17 a second on top of the 1500 pre-existing health he has.
Glyph is going to be used here, as with the double Satyrs and the Siege Wagon, they are trying to force it. Z-Freak could probably take the enemy Siege Wagon as well pretty soon here. They're going for the kill onto Nisha, though, and with the bug on him, all that armor is going to start getting chipped away, but it is able to kill the bug. There's the Batrider coming in. They did manage to get the lasso onto the Phantom Lancer, but they don't have enough damage. The Batrider's dropping low. Maybe PL can doppelganger out. Not in time. It looks like there was just a bit too much damage, and Chessie wasn't able to get the kill on the Batrider either. In fact, even Nisha, who's dropping dangerously low, Chessie does not feel comfortable pursuing that. With his time lapse on cooldown, he heads up to this high ground area. Elisash seemingly kind of trying to bait him almost. He does have Ice Blast available. And a level 6 on Clockwork. Oh, they are going to be able to lock him down. Here comes the Ice Blast. Maybe Chessie held it late. They don't even need it. He doesn't have the time lapse. So there's no way to be able to get out of those cogs. So Complexity may have taken that tier 1 tower, but it has been a costly measure for Complexity, losing hero after hero in that mid lane.
Yeah, definitely thought that this Weaver would be unkillable in a game like this, but this Clock has just been able to lock him down every time. He's just getting outplayed right now. And they keep making their maneuver on this mid tower because they understand the importance of it. If you can take the enemy DK's mid tower, it helps quite a lot. You don't have to worry about it so much. Even if he trades at that point, you accept it. But this is a Dragon Knight that has 1600 health, a magic wand loaded up, so much armor, 9 armor additional to go along with his 8 that already exists, and like the 20 HP regen a second.
Oh, unlucky timing there for Kinguin. Chessie ends up running into the smoke attempt. They're going to go for the wraparound on mid, see if they could get a kill and turn that into a push, but instead their gank attempt is totally foiled.
And it's going to be a 4-staff first item for Moo. Pretty curious choice. I think he understands.
He keeps on doing this. The earn drums every single time, like just, and even now the 4-staff, he seems to be willing to slow down the Blink Dagger longer amounts than any other player that I've ever seen.
Yeah, just going for the tank up build. I did see him go phase boots once on Tide. So I don't know if I agree with all of his ideas.
Yeah. Do you agree with this idea?
It's kind of okay in a game like this. I think that Sand King almost always needs Blink eventually.
Yeah. Does mean they're not going to have that crisp, clean initiation.
Yeah. I guess it's a bit different because you're a ranged stun and your ulti, it's not as reliable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, how many situations are you going to get in where they'll let you epicenter without a Blink dagger?
I mean, especially since they do have pretty good follow-up with the Jakiro. Like, I would imagine a Blink, Epicenter, Burrow Strike, and an Ice Path over the top with maybe a, you know, Dual Breath or something. Like, that kills anybody almost. Yeah. Like, Dragonite might survive, but I'm pretty sure Lone Druid would die, and he's one of the harder heroes to take down with that Savage Roar.
I guess he's not quite a hero like Earthshaker where you need the insta. Yeah. Especially for your ulti, because the positional play is so important. Being able to be a little bit more survivable on a hero like Sand King. It's like, I think Moon Meander used to build Hood on that hero like third item every time, because this hero thrives on being able to get multiple stuns off. Yeah.
They do manage to take the tier 2 at top lane. Kinguin really aren't getting too many objectives in return. They've only taken the enemy save lane tower so far. But that is because their lineup's kind of ramping up. Right? Like, Lone Druid really doesn't do anything for you just yet. The Bat Rider only has his Blink Dagger. Hell, not so long ago, we didn't even have the supports having their level 6. Phaetos is going to be gone on here by Limp. They do have the Enchantress with Moon to be able to follow with a Burst Strike. That's pretty easy. Now, they get the Clockwork on top of Chessie, but the time lapse is there and able to get out of the Ice Spot that was following up. And now our Clockwork is just going to be marooned in an island of cogs, trapped by Complexity on all sides. 4 to 8 now. They pick up 2 kills on top of that tier 2 tower. And it doesn't look like Kinguin's really getting a whole lot done anywhere else.
They're okay, though. The pace of the game, I think, is still very favorable. They've almost got a Radiance on this Lone Druid. And if there's one thing that Complexity hates, it's these heroes that I think just shove in the waves.
They're going to go for the kill on Chessie. They may have a chance to. They stall up Moo, and they do manage to keep the hold on barely. With the Cold Fiend from Elisash locking down Chessie, Moo just wasn't enough to be able to save his Weaver. The Bat Rider actually searching for more with his Blink Dagger. But that is pretty deep, my friend.
They really want this mid tower, if possible. Yeah. But there's no rush for them, because during this entire time, whenever these engagements do happen, Exotic Deer is just farming with the Lone Druid. It doesn't seem like he cares at all. And once he gets this Radiance, it's really hard for Complexity to counter-push against it.
Right.
Like, the Illusion from PL are too weak right now to fight against it. The Sand King doesn't enjoy the burn.
So is that going to be the play from Kinguin? They're just going to play more split push off the Radiance, or do you think they're actually going to start fighting Complexity more?
I think you actually just sit back and allow your team to form in.
Lasso successfully on the move, but he just turns around after it's done. Stop the Burrow Strike, and an Ice Blast is going to be able to finish him off. So Moo goes down. Nisha's going to be the next target here as the Bat Rider ends up falling. Maybe with Z Freak throwing out the pure damage from the Impetus shots. They might be able to kill him, but oh no. Now Catsor's going to be able to come and grab Z Freak, but there is a Force Staff able to get him out of those cogs underneath the tier 1 tower. Limp is actually just wanting to be able to finish off this tier 1, take away that pesky TP point. Maybe they can actually kill the heroes behind it now as Nisha is going to get gone off by Chesu, wrapped all the way around. Does get locked in by the Cold Feet. Catsor thinks about going for the kill, but can't actually. Now he throws down the cogs, but he's trapped inside of his own cogs next to the tier 2, surrounded by Phantom Lancer illusions. There's no way out for him. Looks like Complexity just found a huge fight for themselves and are going to be able to take the opportunity to get more damage on objectives, pushing for that tier 2 mid.
Yeah, but meanwhile, news report. There's a Lone Druid on the loose.
Blitz, are you our side lane reporter?
Yeah, I'm
breaking down the Lone Druid.
I'm giving you the real news. Even though it looks like Complexity just stopped the fight, which they did.
Yeah. I mean, you're like very positive about where Kinguin's at right now, and it could be even more. It doesn't look like our Bat Rider's really going to be able to do a whole lot here. He's just slowing down limbs.
Yeah,
so.
he is no lasso, but just an unfortunate fight. They got run over quite quickly.
Yeah.
It starts with the initiation. Like, they ought to go on the Sand King first, but he just stuns in, and the entire backline is open, and they engage from the front. They do manage to grab the Sand King, but their heroes just started getting picked off one by one, and you see the Enchantress. This is where she's very effective, where she gets to just rip into this Dragon Knight. Like, her impetus shots are dealing so much damage right there. And it was their reluctance to give up that mid tower. Like, I think you give up that mid tower, you start counter pushing, you just shove in bottom a little bit more, you take over the enemy jungle. but they've been so successful at defending that.
They spotted Bat Rider. But Bat Rider does actually grab move, but he's so far away from the rest of his team. Looks like the clockwork also initiated onto Kyle, but a Force Staff managed to get him out of there before the Ice Blast lands. So now with the bugs all onto Kinguin, they're going to be able to pursue. Moo's going to go for the kill onto clockwork, see if they can chase anything else down. Looks like the Bat Rider was able to blink away, and Nisha with a Shadow Blade and the Dragonite was able to get out as well. So it attempted a very deep dive by Kinguin. They must have felt that their Radiance just, they really wanted to force a fight off of that Radiance, but they just tried far too hard.
Yeah, you gotta wait for that item. It's such a big upgrade in the hero. Like, the Sacred Relic itself is pretty negligible. Once you grab that Radiance, it's really hard for Complexity to fight you.
Yeah.
You have one heal in the form of your Enchantress heal. You don't have something like a mech or a pipe, and so it's quite easy to just get on top of that. And so far, Complexity are just out team fighting them now with the double Force Staffs. That is the benefit of the 2 early Force Staff pickups, is that even though you don't have the Blink Dagger or anything of that nature, you're still going to be able to outplay them. Like, nobody's getting cogs anymore. The follow-up damage isn't there when everyone just gets forced around the map. Like, that's the strength of that item. And that's why I thought that the clockwork would kind of just fall off.
I mean, I can't believe it. Like, I actually thought they had Radiance because they were trying to force it so hard, but he actually just needs 5 more gold until he's got that item. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, you were so optimistic about Kinguin's chances, and you were saying, look, they're in a really good position because they almost have this Radiance. They haven't lost as much map control as they probably should have by now, and I can only imagine if they had actually kept this game a little bit cleaner and just not fought into some of these fights against Complexity, give away some of these kills on top of that mid tower and maybe that top tier 2 as well, that Kinguin would actually be leagues ahead of Complexity.
Yeah, but I think that they're still in a pretty good position. This Lone Druid is still 1,500 net worth above any other hero in the game.
So despite all of this, like, you started out this game saying, look, I think Complexity is going to do it. This is a good PL game. You really think that despite that mid-fight that just happened, that the multiple pickoffs they've gotten, even that tier 2 situation at top lane, you still think that they're actually behind in a way, that they still haven't reached the momentum that they should have?
Yeah, I think the laning phase should have gone a lot better for them.
Do you, like, what would you say? Like, you think they're supposed to be up like 5K or something by now?
I think they can be up that much.
Yeah.
The downside, though, is like they keep losing this Weaver who needs to be a secondary core with this Phantom Lancer. Like, he needs to hit hard, and especially with the type of mobility that he has in a game like this.
He is not progressing in items whatsoever. He's still sitting at 5K net worth.
He's got a wand and a Blightstone. Like, those are his significant items so far.
Yeah. So net worth all around, like, everyone's kind of happy except for this Weaver. Like, when Enchantress is above you, you know you got problems.
That's nice, though, that your Enchantress is that farmed. Yeah. She's not an insignificant threat at all. Like, she's going to be one of the more useful heroes against this Dragon Knight and this Lone Druid. Like, her impetus shots are going to be really effective. Yeah,
Lone Druid likes to be able to keep his range. Enchantress is happy with that. The Dragon Knight, super tanky with all that extra armor, but the pure damage just cuts him down pretty well.
You do quite a lot there.
So if we're going to take this from Kinguin's perspective, especially since they're just about to pick up the Radiance, what would you be doing, Will? Give me the shot call.
Okay, so do they have a smoke? Yeah, they do. Okay,
yep, they
so do. The downside is that they pop Dragon Form for this. It gets a little bit more complicated, but as soon as you have Firefly, I think you shove out top lane using the bear.
Okay.
And you just go for a smoke. Somebody goes to shove out top, then you go for a smoke. I don't know if you have to necessarily wait for Nisha's Dragon Form again. I think that the Radiance upgrade is a lot to begin with. Probably need Firefly too. So everybody just shove out lanes and in 60 seconds meet up and go push.
Well, unfortunately for Kinguin, Nisha is not going to have an easy time push out top lane. He is a little bit skittish about being around this Weaver, so he heads to neutrals for the time being. Bat Rider is doing what you wanted, though. He shoved down a lane, TP back.
Yeah, and in 50 seconds, he'll have his ultimate, and you want to wait on that. There's no reason not to. There's a timing that exists where it'll very closely overlap with when Nisha gets his ulti form back anyways.
Yeah.
And if you win a fight, then you can do a lot of options there. Like, you can grab that tier 1 tower mid yourself and then go into Roshan, I think is the best overall play. Maybe even just go straight into Roshan if you feel like you deserve that mid tower. 20 seconds until battled. You can smoke with 5 seconds remaining.
Lone Druid pushed out mid with his bear, but I
Somebody
think
needs to shove out top again.
yeah, Chessie's done a really good job. He has not left top lane. He's made sure to shove this in as many times as possible, and it makes Kinguin's current group up attempt kind of awkward because soon Priests are going to be banging on their tier 3.
Yeah, they're also spotted the entire time by this bottom ward from Complexity. I think...
What is their clockwork do? Okay.
Pretty sure it feels though Exotic Dionysus and Despair up top. Like that's the hero that I wanted up there anyways. Because the Dragon Knight's not going to feel comfortable pushing in that area. They have no ward there. It's, when you lose your first 2 towers, it's impossible to get them.
No, a jump onto the Bat Rider. They managed to get initiation on the initiator. Kinguin. Another pickoff for Complexity.
Yeah, now things are getting a little bit more rough than they should. Like, Despair is still shoving in waves, but you got to be able to be ready for something right after that. Like, you shove in that wave, everybody should be somewhat grouped near each other, ready to smoke, at least. That top wave, though, is unplayable for any of the Kinguin heroes.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to be happy going up there with no vision, no tier 1, no tier 2. Shrine is there, of course, they have moved that, but even then, you might not get there in time.
Chessie, again, just underlining the importance of keeping top lane pushed in. Shows up top again, even throws the swarm onto the creep wave just to help kill it a little bit faster.
Yeah, and this is where lane shove really matters for people that still don't quite understand the concept is if you have somebody shoving in this wave at all times and it immediately gets to your tier 3 and no one goes to defend that, then you can play process of elimination and understand where they are. So Kinguin, it's no secret.
They're definitely not keeping this a secret that they are full-on 5-manning mid.
Look at their top.
But it's, yep, their tier 3 is going to start taking damage with a Siege Wagon too. So they take this tier 1, but they almost have to immediately start trekking it up to top lane. They are going to try and catch. They are too smoked up still. See if they can catch the Weaver from behind, but Weaver's already TP'd back. Chessie does finally get an item. He's beginning to get some net worth back into his pockets. He's got a Diffuser Blade at least. One of many items that he still needs.
It's good enough, though.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
He can play the defensive game with his team's 4 staffs.
Yeah. And because so many heroes had to rotate up to top lane, they actually just got a free tier 1 at bottom lane. I guess when you talk about teams like Complexity always like to be able to have some supports that push. Jakiro, they pick it up constantly, but the Enchantress is a great example of a support that gives you that kind of power as well.
Yeah. And she's also a safe push because you can just enchant 2 creeps.
Yeah, what's going to happen? They're going to gank your neutrals.
Yeah, you don't care too much. It's a very easy way to get information. Yeah. And in competitive games, information like that is so valuable when you just can eliminate where potential targets can and can't be.
They're actually killing or trying to kill the bear. It's actually going to TP out.
Yeah, speaking of the Sand King Hood that we were talking about, he's going to go for it.
Yeah.
They really need it, though. The Radiance Burn is going to be horrible for them to deal with. Especially in team fights.
How many more items are we going to say the Sand King needs before it's actually the Blink Dagger that he needs? Like, surely this is the last item before he goes Blink.
I could see him go for, like, a Shiva's.
You think you could delay Blink that much?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Just tank up. Become like a cute centaur.
Has Jack infected you with his ideas of Dota?
Jack's crazy, man.
Just give him the beef.
Jack really wants Phantom Lancer to be a thing. So if he's rooting for anybody back at home...
Yeah, he's definitely rooting for Cole.
Yeah.
I saw that guy lose a lot of Phantom Lancer games. TP out from Kyle. Bat Rider's going to spot Chessie, though. They don't have a follow-up stun, though. Clockwork is so far away. But Chessie is definitely stuck inside the trees. He's going to go for the TP out. And the hook shot. It's up, but it's not there.
He had the range for it.
Yeah, he did. Either way, though. Chessie gets out. Complexity are getting a pretty hefty push coming in bottom lane. With the Phantom Lancer picking up the Illusion Rune, plus Kyle joining it. And Kinguin trying to force things in the top lane, but look at that damage from Z-Freak. That is a support that is now turned core. He's going to turn his damage on Anisha as well. He's going to be slowed down by the Diffuser Blade. Look at him just poking at Kinguin. Now, fortunately, our Clockwork is there to be able to zone back a lot of the heroes, but it's going to cost him his life. It looks like his limp comes in to be able to slow him down with the Diffuser Blade. He rips him apart. Now, Moo trying to get a jump on an Exotic Deer, but a TP away is successful.
Now
maybe they can catch the Lone Druid Bear. Yeah, they got it down. Slowed down by the Diffuser Blade with a swarm on it as well.
Oh my word, Impetus does so much damage in this game.
Yeah.
Like, he is chunking heroes, and they can't get to him either. Like, their heroes aren't good at dealing with him.
No.
The best thing that they can do is grab him with the Batrider, because Batrider is excellent against Enchantress. Like, you can mess up her turn rate. You can burn through a heal pretty easily with just like 2 or 3 stickies and your Firefly. But him going down first was like the most disastrous thing for him. Because as a result, Z-Freak was like, I guess I'm the carry now.
Yeah.
He has 400 more net worth than his Weaver, so maybe they didn't have like the best matching cores. Like, their cores weren't able to keep up, but Z-Freak has definitely kept up. Like, he has more net worth than both the enemy supports combined.
Yeah.
And if you double that, it's pretty close.
I mean, how many times have you watched a Complexity game and it's Z-Freak who really is the determining factor between a win and a loss for Complexity?
That's so much.
Yeah.
He almost doubles their combined net worth. And it's only 25 minutes, sorry.
Yeah.
That's absurd. And this hero, he's the best at dealing with those. Like, they prioritize him correctly. But it's not even like their Jakiro's underfarmed either from all this tower gold. Like, he's got a Veil.
Yep.
And they're going to go for a high ground here. They're going to try to surprise Kinguin into thinking, like, this is only a Weaver hitting it, and now they're going to run up with all the heroes and reveal their surprise.
And all of a sudden, Kinguin, they have to start either mass TPing back or just go for a shove of their own, and it looks like they are going to do that now. Clockwork's going to try and stall things up as much as possible. Complexity are not daunted at all. They're just going to keep going, and they're going to be able to kill the Phantom Lancer easily, taking up the Clockwork, and the push happens at bottom lane. So Kinguin have given up a hero. They're going to try and make the trade here. Muad's actually able to get away, backing away from the Dragonite, but they're just not able to stop the TP back. So looks like Dragonite is going to be able to complete his TP straight onto an ice path, though, of Kyle. And it looks like Kinguin are not going to really be able to catch anything as Complexity are able to back out safely. But they did trade. Maybe it wasn't a full lane of racks, but at least they got the melee racks at bottom lane.
What an awkward situation.
Yeah.
It's rare that you see that. That's one of the very, very few times where I've seen teams just decide to trade sides like that.
Yeah.
With everybody up. That's the weird part too, is that everybody was alive.
And I think Moo realizes that he made a mistake. He tried to contest that push when really he could have just let it go and said, okay, they're going to take a lane of racks, but I'm going to stop their TP.
Yes.
And my team's going to go for 2.
I think that was the correct idea.
Realized a bit too late.
That's also the downside of not having a Blink Dagger, though, is it's not easy for you to get in and stop that. Like,
He's got it now, though.
Yeah, but still, that's just weird. Like, this circumstance is a little bit unique.
Oh, that is a invisible Phantom Lancer that just ran into a smoked up Batrider who's taking a shot all the way to the high ground. Get out of here. Z-Freak is able to find more chests. He is actually going to be slowing down LE Slash, managed to get the swarm onto him. They're a little bit skittish, though, and full on just charging at Kinguin. They're going to just kind of poke him down. Finish up the supports. Now the turnaround comes from Nisha, but they are low on heroes, and it looks like they're going to be losing Catchor as well. They managed to get Limp pretty low, but he's hiding into the trees. Nisha can't seem to get to him, and Limp starts making his way out of there with the Doppelganger now bottling up. So Kinguin, they're going to keep their 2 cores alive, but they couldn't actually do much in that turnaround. They only brought down the Weaver.
Yeah, and you're starting to see the 4-position trade-off is so immense, and this is why I thought that Complexity had the advantage, is because this Enchantress is going to be the most effective hero in this game at some point.
Yeah.
Whereas this Clockwork, yes, he did so much in the early game, but you don't feel his impact anymore. It also goes along with his item choices. He decided to go for the Blade Mail. He doesn't have a 4-staff of his own, so he can't keep up with the pace of the game. As soon as he throws down cogs, he's actually just trapping himself in there.
Yeah.
Like, nobody fears that. That is a one-man battle dome specifically made for you. The supports have 4 staffs now. Even Kyle's picked up one for himself. They've hard countered this hero. You don't feel his presence in the game anymore. This Enchantress is going for a Silver Edge, almost has a 2. Once she grabs that, the DK is going to be absolute food for her.
Do you think the Clockwork should have gone Force Staff then? Seeing
I
how
think he
this game
definitely
is
should have
played
gone
out?
Force.
When
It's not even like how this game played
no.
out. It's he saw that everybody had a Force Staff in that initial mid engagement. Remember when he caught them?
Yeah.
They had 2 Force Staffs at that point. They had very early Force Staffs, so you need to be able to match these heroes and run after them. If you can't get on top of heroes as Clockwork, well, you're just a hook shot because your cogs don't do too much. You have to have the ability to also like cogs them on one side or another. You can't just hook anymore, immediately lay down the cogs and assume that they're stuck.
Seafree can start going hunting. You're going to see it here. Pantos, he's going to taste the rainbow. Here it goes. Oh, there's so many misses, but
Godlike,
he still managed to
he's
get
getting another one.
And he's going to get another one. Beyond Godlike with a double kill for Z-Freak, as he says thank you very much to Limp for helping him out to bring the Clockwork down, and they're going to turn and head towards Roshan.
You might as well just give him the Aegis, too.
Yeah, honestly, you might as well.
He's really close to the top of the net worth for his team. This is not a 4-position Enchantress. She buys wards for no one.
She is a strong, independent, prancing deer lady.
Respect his power as a core. Oh,
Yeah.
he hits so hard.
And now, Complexity are up 11,000 gold. They're about to finish up that Silver Edge. Our Phantom Lancer is looking quite strong as he's trying to finish up a Scotty. And hell, even Chessie, who's had a rough game. He's looking toward finally getting that Lincoln's.
He can afford to because they essentially have 4 cores right now.
yeah.
Like
Take a back seat here, Chessie. You're now the 4 position.
Normally,
of the team.
this might be an issue, but in this game, it's just kind of bolstered Z-Freak's farm. He's like, look, I know normally you're the carry, but just hands off the wheel for a bit.
Run interference for me. I mean, we said at the beginning, right? Like, the way the lanes were set up, he could play super greedy.
Yes, he did. He just farmed the entire time. Like, even when they were losing, he was still hitting creeps. And we're seeing that pay absolute dividends. You've invested in Chessie, or into Z-Freak, and now they're going to be really happy with that because he's got a full Silver Edge Hurricane Pike. Now he's the real target for Kinguin. You can't let this Enchantress just sit back and chuck spears anymore.
So how do we do that? Hey, it's just Bat Rider. He's got to get the last
Bat
on
Rider keeps trying to get on top of him, but he just never finds the angle, and then he gets Hurricane Piked.
Yeah.
It's like, who finds who first? Because when Chessie gets on top of him with that Silver Edge, he just Hurricane Pikes him away, throws like 5 spears, and he dies instantly. You can't do anything about it as a
setting
Bat
up
Rider.
the right-hand side. He's just going to go for the easy stun onto Nisha, forcing out an early BKB. The Clockwork does manage to get the hook in onto Z-Freak with the back line, but he immediately gets out of there. Nisha turns instead, going for Moo, who doesn't really have an escape mechanism out of this one. At least off the back line, looks like he's going to burn out as Chessie goes to that kill. Now Nisha, no longer having the BKB, is going to get ripped apart by the Phantom Lancer. Easy food for him. That's 4 down from Kinguin. A 5th, making his way out. Exotic Deer barely able to TP out in time, but a huge win for Complexity. Maybe they didn't save their tower, they didn't save Moo either, but the fight was well worth it for them. Oh, okay, all right, they did lose Kyle.
Yeah. Deer does manage to pick up the kill with his bear. Man. They tried so hard to kill Z-Freak there. They went in, the Dragon Knight even committed. That's why he died. He tried to Silver Edge hit the Enchantress. Like, he all-in committed for that, got really out of position. Like, they're starting to get desperate trying to chase this deer.
I mean, let's be very clear. Our Clockwork, he can't just cog the Enchantress,
no,
right?
She's going to force staff away every time.
You have to push her into your team.
Yes, that's the only way that they're going to win this fight. This isn't the beginning of Bambi. Like this...
Just not a free kill for the Hunters.
This Z-Freak is...
this is Bambi 2.
I know I've mentioned it a lot.
Blood.
I know I mentioned it a lot, and you know, I'm sure people are getting sick and tired of it. It's like, he's got 13k net worth, he's barely behind the Phantom Lancer.
Oh, look at Limp. He's just hunting supports at this point. He gets the Ancient Apparition. Looks like a pretty easy kill. Oh, he actually doesn't jump into the cogs, but it doesn't matter.
Go
so does all of his illusions. Yeah, they're going to go for high ground here. Kinguin forced to defend. They do have a buyback on the Ancient Apparition with the Ice Blast still up. He immediately blows it. But the tier 3 is still in trouble.
Yeah, Glyph is popped. Exotic Deer trying to create a space on the opposite side of the map. They force the buyback, they get some kills. They're going to be quite happy with this. The Lone Druid is still trying to do whatever he can, but I don't think he expected a game like this. Kinguin thought all along, well, we've got better heroes in terms of like the core matchups, we'll be really tanky, but they didn't quite factor in all the heroes.
Yep. Got to think about those supports too.
Yeah. This Lone Druid is still absurdly farmed. 21k net worth. has a Vlad's, AC, Maelstrom, Radiance, almost has the fully completed Mjolnir on top of that, but it just doesn't feel like he does enough with the rest of his team. They need Patos to do more in these fights. Like, Patos and their 2 initiations have to be better right now for them to win this game.
Hell, even Nisha is still decently farmed. He's 3rd in net worth.
Yes, but he can't Silver Edge walk up to people anymore.
No.
They need the Clockwork and the Batrider to force better engagements for them.
It's all about the initiation for Kinguin, and for the last 20 minutes, they have not found a good one. Kaya now for Kyle. That's not too many times you're going to be able to say that.
Dude, normally I see Kyle with like double buckler.
Yep.
That's his life. Not this game.
Here he's got Force, Veil, Buckler, and a Kaya.
He's level 19. Oh. He's 5 levels ahead of their Batrider. Everybody from Complexity is having such a free game right now. Cole, now they're hitting this mid tower. They're going to grab it. Racks are now exposed. Kinguin, they've got to make a choice here. The bat initiation is going to be so crucial for them. We talked about it. You get one good shot at this. Aegis has faded.
They're not getting it. They tried to Shadowblade run in with Nisha. Not able to do so. They do at least finish up the Mjolnir for Exotic Deer. That'll help them deal with the Phantom Lancer a little bit better.
This Dragon Knight didn't even, or this Jakiro didn't even take the XP gain talent. I thought he did. I was like, how is he so leveled?
He goes for the 150 gold over the 2 times Dragon Blood.
Yeah. I think he realizes like it doesn't matter too much anymore, especially with the Silver Edge on the other side. Like he just needs to scale hard.
Yeah, and he's trying to get a halberd. Z-Freak starts going for the kill. Pushbacks at the same time as they go for the stun. Now they still have vision of him, but he managed to get outside of the range of this. They're going to jump onto the Enchanter. See if they can blow him off. They are successful. Pretty easy kill. A jump back from Chessie just ahead of that hook shot. He is able to time lapse to safety. They weren't able to save their secondary carry of this game, though. Z-Freak goes down for the first time in a long, long, long time.
They needed that. Anytime the Batrider can jump the Enchantress, you have to take that at this point.
Yeah.
They might have thought at first, oh, get rid of Mu, he's their stun. But no, it's really the Enchantress or the Phantom Lancer that'll cause them the most issues.
And part of that was they attempted to go on to Nisha.
Yes.
And they got counter-initiated on. Otherwise, he would have had Hurricane Pike, and he might just push the Batrider again like he's always done.
That was very fast, though. The Force Staff that they got onto the Dragon Knight, very good team play. They were trying to just rip it apart.
Yeah.
A little bit too greedy, though, because this mid lane is exposed now. You have to assume that Kinguin is going to be gathered around that area, centralized there, ready to take that engagement. At the very least, they're going to sit behind heroes. Like, nobody was shoving out waves.
Yeah. They didn't have anybody else from Complexity there. It seems like one of those moves that the risk-reward ratio is pretty awkward.
Yeah, if you kill the DK, you probably assume with the GPM talent he's got buyback anyways, right?
Yeah. So, like, maybe you're able to force a buyback, but it doesn't end the game. Meanwhile, forcing plays like that could definitely get Kinguin back into the game. As they still have Big Bad Bear, Lone Druid, level 25 talent coming up.
Radiant are scared.
What do you take? You take the Battle Cry, or
Battle Cry grants spell immunity. That's pretty cool.
Zero Entangle cooldown.
Zero Entangle cooldown's pretty boss too.
Yeah.
What is it normally?
Oh, like 2 seconds or something. The bear.
Oh, it's 5 seconds.
Oh god, it's 5 seconds.
Those are both sick. Those are some cool talents.
He attacks super fast.
Yeah, he does.
The AC and the Mjolnir.
The bear hits hard.
That sounds worth it to me.
It's great lockdown.
Yeah, but if you pop the Battle Cry spell immunity, do you think that means that the bear just ignores Untouchable?
That should be what that means, but
it says spell immunity, not magic immunity. Yeah. That's why I'm a little bit about it.
I don't think so. It's probably still worth it to grab the Entangle, because it's not like he's dying in these engagements.
Yeah.
Like, he's still pretty front-facing.
He just can't Abyssal Blade next.
Yeah, he just can't deal enough damage for his team to survive. Like, his team dies by that time. Oh, he does end up grabbing the spell immunity.
Okay.
I guess it's useful so he doesn't get jumped out on top.
See how it plays out.
Zero Entangle, that's cool. It's nice when you have a hero that just has like 2 really nice talents.
There's still so many
difficult.
Yeah, there's still so many of these 25 talents that I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's like minus 13-second flame break cooldown or plus 8-second firefly duration. So your firefly just feels like it's up forever.
Yeah. This Dragonite one will pretty nice for the carry Dragonite, plus 40 strength.
Yeah.
You can see them smoked up right now, trying to catch complexity. They
They're
need
kind
a
of
really
split right
big
now.
pick, but they're not going to be able to find an easy one. It looks like Moo does manage to get the Dragon Tail onto him before he can make some sort of jump away. A little bit slow on the reaction there. Successful Kinguin pick. What can they do with it, though? They've got 70 seconds.
Roshan.
They can push out, see if they can take over the Roche pit.
Yeah. Complexity right now are being a little bit too split on the map.
Yeah.
Like they're feeling the pace of the game. It's slowed down a little bit. But I think if Kinguin want to come back firmly into this game, Roshan is probably the next target. Like, they're not that far behind at all.
Yeah.
Just one fight, and their pushing power is unbelievable with the AC and the Dragon Knight Dragon form. Like, they'll take these towers really fast. It's just a matter of getting these fights.
14K is not that much this late into the game.
Oh, they did lose the gem, by the way. That was a while back, but that should be pointed out because it is a significant event that happened. Like, the gem is really huge in this game because as cores begin to progress, it's really hard for them to just carry around dust. And you notice in this game that it's the supports that go down very easily. And so if they aren't there to dust or follow up, how do they keep up with the Weaver or even the Enchantress with Silver Edge? Like, when the fights become chaotic and they can just poke you and kite you around. And because they have a gem of their own, sentries aren't reliable because the Weaver can just one-shot all the scents anyways.
What do you think of this item choice by Z-Freak going for the Nullifier next?
Probably just to stop the BKBs.
Yeah. I mean, is the range even good enough for an Enchantress to be using?
I'm not sure about that. The damage is really nice.
Pop, smoke on two, BKB immediately pop. They're going to be able to lock in the Dragon Knight here. Nisha in big trouble. Pops BKB now at half HP, but they're Bat Rider. They don't have the big control, and the Phantom Lancer's right up in their face. Defense have the BKB and they get a little bit of damage onto him, but it's really just not enough. They've lost two heroes, the third in the back of Chessie. He's able to kill Alisage, and finally they go for the kill onto Nisha. Now the BKB is faded away. Exotic Gear hitting a TP once again, just ahead of an Ice Path, but being the only survivor to a fight is still going to leave you with some battle scars. Complexity are going to be able to take another Roshan for themselves, this one with cheese. How
Convenient that as soon as they take that fight, both teams understood that they needed the Roshan. Felt like maybe Kinguin could have gone for that like a second earlier before the Sand King goes and respawns, but instead it's now going to be Complexity that forces the issue with so many heroes dead and on the sidelines. They lost the gem again, by the way. Or no, they didn't. The Bat Rider died, but he didn't have it on him. He just had it bought on the courier, I guess. But it's not like it matters because he doesn't have buyback. So it's going to be Nisha and Exotic Deer that hold the front.
Nisha didn't really react at all to that jump, but at the same time, like, if you don't get the initiation with a Bat Rider, it seems like these fights are impossible for Kinguin.
If the two initiators can't get in and they can't immediately blow somebody up, these like long fights don't favor them anymore at all.
Yeah, we're seeing Complexity now go for that last set of racks. Bat Rider on the far side here does make the jump. He does manage to grab the Enchantress. That's going to be big with the Ice Flash over the top. They should be able to blow him up pretty quickly, but a Force Staff, he actually managed to get out. Looks like our Phantom Lancer is just trying to push back the rest of the heroes, go for Exotic Gear, while Chessie sneaks his way in the back line and kills Alisage again. A BKB is going to wear out for Nisha. Now he's going to start getting kited around and burned out of his mana. If he's not careful, they're actually going to deal with the Lone Jurd Bear first, while Chessie, again, he's like an assassin in the back lines, disrupting all of them. He's willing to give up his Aegis as long as he kills this damn Dragon Knight. He's going to be able to get to a three-man burrow strike from Moo, locking him inside their own cogs. Pedos has to try and fly out of it to get burned out. The Enchantress brings him down again. Kinguin hiding out inside of the fountain, couldn't even finish off, and Dave, their throne, looks like it's just going to be dying to Complexity. They will take game number one against Kinguin. It was a long one, 43 minutes in, and it wasn't the smoothest ride for them either. Kinguin made it a little bit bumpy in the start, but